Hi! In today's Microsoft Word tutorial, I'll be showing you how to create this simple letterhead and contents. Then I'll show you how to save it as a template so you can use it time and time again. There are many different versions of Word, but most of the tools and actions are the same. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to enter the simple graphics that lie in the corners of the page. So for that, we need to go to the Insert tab. Go along to Shapes and click on the drop down and select the square. Then click the mouse and drag out a rectangle. Release the mouse, and then all we're going to do is we're going to rotate the rectangle and insert it into the corner. Now, to ensure this is relatively close to the corner, then if we move it to the corner, you can see the little square is on an angle in the corner, and all we're going to do is just drag it forward. We're just going to eyeball where that square is roughly in line with the corner. Then we're going to press copy and paste. You can go to the Home tab and click copy and paste, and this will bring another rectangle. And again, we can do the same in the lower corner and just drag that out. And then we're just going to copy and paste again. Now I'm going to do this by pressing Command or Control C to copy, Command or Control V to paste. And with this one, I'm just going to turn it another colour so that I can differentiate between the two. So I'm just going to go to Shape Format. I'm going to go down to this icon here which says Shape Fill, and I'm going to click on this dark grey. Now at the moment there is a faint outline to this shape. If I just click off, you can just see there's a blue outline to this shape. So if I highlight the shape, go to Shape Format, and I can either, if I go to this icon and click on the drop down, I can either select no outline or I can select the same colour as the internal colour. But I'm going to click no fill. And there you can see the borders disappeared. So now I'm going to do the same, although I'm going to stretch out this rectangle so it's a bit longer. And then you can see this rectangle goes over the top of the blue one, but I want this one underneath the blue one. So again, I go to Shape Format, and I go along to this section here. This icon here says Send Backwards. I'm going to click on the drop down and click Send to Back. And then when I move it, you can see it goes underneath the blue rectangle. Now, in order to find the correct colours for my corners, I'm going to insert my logo. And to do that, I'm going to click Insert, Picture, click on the drop down and click Picture from File. I'm going to select my logo and click Insert. Now when I go to move my logo, you can see that it won't move. But all I need to do is to make sure I'm on the Picture Format tab. If that doesn't appear, it's because your picture isn't selected. So if I just click off, you can see it's disappeared. If I highlight my logo, go to Picture Format and go along to Wrap Text. Click on the drop down and click in front of text. Then you can just reduce the size of your logo and just place it up in the corner. Now I am going to be adjusting everything as I go along, so I'm just going to pop it here for the time being, and then we can move it as we go through. Now the reason to get this icon up is because I want to look at the colours of the logo to ensure that I can get a match for these two colours here. And the way in which I do that is I'm going to double click on my square so that I get this drop down menu to appear on the right hand side. Now this can control everything inside your shape and your border. So there's fill and there's line. And we can also put shadows in with this icon here. But first of all, we're just going to concentrate on the colour. So I'm going to go to the fill, and I want to fill my shape with a gradient. So just click on gradient. Now I've already put these colours in because I've rehearsed this tutorial. But the way in which to do it, so let's just say I click on this one. So I'm just going to get rid of these squares here. So I've just got 2 squares here, which means that my colour will grade from a darker blue right through to a lighter blue. So to select the colour, you make sure you've highlighted the pointer here, and then you go to the colour icon here. Click on the drop down, and then click down the bottom on more colours. Now here you'll be presented with the colour wheel. You'll also have this eyedropper tool here. If you click on that, you'll get this circle that appears. Now if I drag my circle over my logo, you can see I can select from the colours available. So I'm firstly going to select the darker colour. I'm going to go to the top here and just click on that darker colour, and as you can see it appears in this box here. And if I click OK, you can see that that darker colour has appeared here. And the same, I'll go to this icon here, go down to colour, click more colours, click the eyedropper, and then I'm going to go up to the lighter blue here and just click. And there again I've got the lighter blue, click OK, and the lighter blue appears here. Now again, I'm going to do exactly the same to this square here, but before I do so, I'm just going to go down to line, and I'm going to click no line because currently this square has a border which I want to get rid of. So click on the shape down here. If I click on gradient fill, it will automatically fill my rectangle with the gradient that I've just created. Now the difference here being is that on this one I've gone from light to dark, from right to left, and it's repeated that on this rectangle, but I actually want to reverse it so I have the lighter colour on the inside of the letter and the darker colour towards the outside. So all I need to do is just drag these 2 icons and swap them over, and there you see we have the lighter blue gradually going towards the darker blue. In this section here I just want to add a shadow. So if I click on my shape and I go along to this icon here, click on the drop down and click shadow. Go along to presets, click on the drop down, and I'm going to go to this icon here. Now you can't see it very well at the moment, but if I drag this slider here, you can see the size increasing on that shadow over here. So I'm just going to reduce that slightly. Now you can play around with all of these sliders. You can play around with the blur so it's more of a graded, filtered look. You can play around with the angle, the distance, the transparency, and of course the colour. But I'm happy with that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add along the bottom all of the different icons for your address, contact details and websites. For this I'm going to use icons. So I go up to the Insert tab and I go along here to the Icon tab. Now if you don't have icons, you will have clip art, and it will have similar things inside clip art. So over here, as you can see, I've got a search bar. So the first one I'm going to search for is location. And here I've got this little icon here. It's like a little map icon. Click on the little circle and click insert. Now what's happened is it's disappeared behind my other shapes. So in order to bring it forward, make sure you're in the graphics format tab. Go down to wrap text and go down to in front of text. And there it appears. I also want to change this icon to a blue colour. So I go up to graphics fill, I've got the graphics format, I'm in the graphics format tab, click on the drop down, and then you can select from any of these colours that you formed from your logo. So I'm just going to click on this blue and my icon has changed to blue. Now I'm going to slightly reduce the size of this and pop it at the bottom, but I will come back to it to ensure that all the different icons are the same size and colour. The next icon will be email. Again, I just select the icon of my choice, and again it's disappeared, so we go up to wrap text, click on the drop down, click in front of text, then we go up to the graphics fill, and you can just click on that now because the blue's already selected. Drag it down, just reduce it slightly. Then we can go to phone, click, insert, wrap text, in front, graphic fill, drag down, and we'll just go along and type in website, click, insert, wrap text, in front, graphic fill, and down to the bottom. Now we'll just zoom in, and if we want all these different icons the same size, we just reduce one down to the size that we want, and then we'll have to go up to the graphics format tab and then look at the size here of the height and the width, and we've currently got it on 0.68. So just highlight that and copy it. Then click on the next icon, highlight the size, paste, and then just press enter, and the one below, the width, will automatically change, and your icon here will match your first icon. Do exactly the same for all 4 icons, and they'll all be exactly the same size. Okay, so now we're just going to pop them down at the bottom, and we'll just line them up roughly with where we'll want them on the page. You don't have to be too accurate because I'm going to show you a technique now to line them up. So now we want to line all of these up. So what we do is we click on our first icon, hold the Command or Control key down, and click on each icon so you highlight them all. You then again on the graphics format, you go to this tab here, which is extremely helpful. Click on the drop down, and then it gives you all these different options about how you want to line up your icons. Make sure that this one at the bottom is selected, Align Selected Objects. So I'm going to align them to the middle. I'm also going to align them vertically, so this is to distribute them vertically, so they're all in line vertically. And I'm also going to distribute them equally horizontally. So now they're completely in alignment. The next thing we'll do is just insert the information that you'll want to put next to each different icon. So we're going to go to the Insert tab, and we're going to go along here to Text Box. Click on the drop down and click Draw Text Box. Now again, you don't need to be too accurate at the moment. You can just simply draw your text box, and then we'll just put in the contents. Now, if you've set up your first tab exactly how you want it, then you only have to copy and paste it and put in the different pieces of information. So if I click off this now, you can see that, sorry, it just keeps jumping around. You can see that I've got an outline border, which I don't want. So if I click on my text box and then I go up to Shape Format, and then I click on this icon here, click on the drop down and select No Outline. And now you can see that my outline has disappeared. Once I'm happy with the size of my text, if I'm not, just double click on the words, click Command or Control A to highlight all of the contents in your text box. Go to the Home tab, and then you can use the drop down here to select the size of your font, or you can select one of these two here. Sorry about the noise outside, my children are home and they're currently playing in the garden. Now we've got our text box set up, so now all I need to do is copy and paste this text box. So copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. So we bring this one down, bring this one down. Don't worry about being too accurate, because again we'll use the alignment tools. Again, don't worry about being too accurate because we will use the alignment tools to correctly line up all this information. So go into here, double click, Command or Control A, and then we'll put in your email. And then again, double click, Command or Control A, and just the final one. What we're also going to do is just make sure they're all aligned vertically as well. So again, go to Shape Format to the Alignment tool, and we're just going to, we're going to distribute them horizontally. So just click on that one, and as you can see now, there's just a little bit of misalignment there, so we'll go up and just align to the center here. Oops. No, we'll align to middle here. And as you can see, they've just slightly nudged to the middle. Just try that one again. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So if you just zoom out, then we have all our information at the bottom. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to insert the contents here, and then a date line up here and an address of the person you're sending this letter to. Now the reason we're going to set this up is because once you save this as a template, then all you need to do is highlight the text, delete it, and then retype, and the whole thing will be formatted to the font style, the line distribution, and the font size that you want in your letters, and you don't have to keep formatting it time and time again. So we're going to go to the Insert tab and insert another text box. So we're just going to click and drag, and again, don't worry about being too accurate about this at the moment because we'll move it all around. Then all you need to do is insert your contents. And then as you can see, every text box by default has a white background to it, which at the moment is overlapping the corners. So we just want to get rid of this white background, and we also want to get rid of this black border. So highlight the text box, make sure you're on Shape Format, click on the drop down here for No Outline, and go to Shape Fill, click on the drop down and click No Fill. And now all you've got in here are just the words. If I move it around, you can see there's just words inside this text box. Now you need to go in and select your different font sizes and line spacing. So in order to highlight my text, I just simply double click in my text box, click Command or Control A, and you'll highlight all of your text. Go to the Home tab, and then you can play around with all of these different icons in here about whether you want your letter to be aligned to the left, the right, justified, or in the centre. And then obviously all the different font sizes and fonts you have available. The only other thing that I've done is I've increased my line spacing. So I've used this icon here, click on the drop down, and then you can just increase or decrease your line spacing as you see fit. And that really depends on the type of font that you're using. So again, play around with all of these just to select your desired result. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is just insert a date box and also your address to box. So the best way to do it, if you want the same formatting and the same font, is to highlight this text box and click Command or Control C, Command or Control V, and actually make a copy. If you draw another text box, you've got to take the background out, the border out, you've got to select the different font sizes and the letter spacing, and it's just far easier to copy and paste the original text box. Then all you've got to do is double click, press Command or Control A, press Delete. Then all you do is just quickly put your date in, and then just decrease the size of your text box to the size you want. Now at the moment we'll just move that over here, but we'll move all this around so it all lines up beautifully. Once you've done that, again with this one, copy and paste again, double click, Command or Control A, press Delete, and then just insert the text that you want. Now I've already played around with this. It should have come out as left justify. So it would have come out like this. and I've just used this icon here to move the text over to align it to the right. And then just decrease the size of your text box. Okay, so the final thing we need to do is just make sure that everything here is in the right place and where we want it. So with my text box here, to make sure that this is in the centre, once I've highlighted it, if I go up to Shape Format, I can then click on the drop down here on the Align icon, make sure Align to Margin is checked, and then you can simply click Align to Centre. And that will centre your text box to the centre of your page. Now, of course, you can move it around or you can make it smaller. So if this Dear Sir here is a little bit too close to this graphic here, you can just move this over slightly and again go up to Align to Centre, and you can adjust how these words sit on your page. In addition, you can move around your logo. So if you want your logo name, this edge here, to line up with your text, then you can move that over. And of course, make it smaller if you need to. Or you can just adjust it to a nice margin size here. So as you can see, my margin up here is where this arrow is. And I can just line that up by eyeballing it. Now, to ensure these two are perfectly aligned, I can double click and highlight my text, and in the Home tab go along to Align Right, because of course this text here is aligned to the right of my text box, and then just highlight this text box, click the Command or Control key, highlight the text box above, go up to Shape Format, click on Align, click on the drop down and click Align to Right. And as you can see, these two are lined up. However, they're not quite lined up with the E here. But because they're both now highlighted, I can simply click and drag or use my arrow keys to eyeball where they line up with the E. And once I'm happy, I just click off. And now I have a perfect letterhead and wording and text exactly where I want it. Now, to ensure that I can use this time and time again, I need to save it as a template. You'll need to go up to File and then go down to Save as Template. Now you can see it's gone straight to this templates file here. And of course, down here, the file format is a Microsoft Word template.x. Give your letterhead a title and then click Save. Once that's saved, you can check it's now a template. If I now close this, so I now click my Microsoft Word app. Now here you're in Templates under the New tab here. If you go along to Personal, then you'll see that your letterhead template appears here. If you click on it and click Create, what you'll find is that now you have document 9. It might be document 1, it might be document 25, it depends on how many times you've opened up a template. What you'll notice is that this is now a new document. Your template is happily saved away in the templates file, so you can go ahead and you can adjust this, you can change it, you can create a new letter, but because when you go to save, you'll see that now it's wanting you to save this as a completely different document. So it will not overwrite the template that you've already created. So I hope that's helped you today. If it has, please subscribe and have a great day.